Alright guys, just we're here back again today. Hope you're all enjoying your Thursday. The weekend is just approaching. That's the Los Angeles weekend here, of course, in Los Angeles. Los Angeles OpTic and Los Angeles Guerrillas going to be hosting this one. There's 8 teams. Yesterday on Spitfire, we kind of talked through some predictions. I'll go through in more depth in tomorrow and potentially talk about some storylines on Saturday morning before the event begins. But there are a few things to mention here because things might not be so straightforward as they seem. Also wanted to talk about some drama that went down over the last couple of days. Just a few clips that have gone on and, spicing things up and creating some storylines for the season ahead. So if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. And let's hop into this first of all. I'm sure all of you guys are aware of the coronavirus outbreak, I suppose, worldwide right now. And Los Angeles today just declared a state of emergency, or California indeed declared a state of emergency where Los Angeles is. So this creates a very interesting situation. Now, I saw this on the Call of Duty Gamepedia page. I'll leave this link down in the description box below. But the Call of Duty Challengers Japan National Cup 2020 was cancelled on February the 28th due to concerns of the outbreak. And we've just seen in the IEM Katowice event in Poland, they played the entire event without a crowd because the local government said that you can't have more than like X amount of people, 5,000 amount of people or whatever. At least those are the rules in France, I believe, right now. Can't have more than 5,000 people in a space. So they said, look, you can't hold the event. There's going to be too many people here. We're not going to get a crowd exactly that size at the Los Angeles event, I imagine. So maybe it'll be okay. But given there's a state of emergency in LA right now, does make me worried about, like, not only if all the teams are going to be going along, but also mainly, I think, really for the fans. Like, IEM was played pretty much fine. There were no real issues. Apart from a visa issue, I think, with one of the teams of Vici Gaming, a team had to substitute in instead. Don't think we'll see anything like that here, but who knows exactly what's going to be going on. It's just for the fans that are planning to travel, will they allow them into the event? Who knows? I'll leave this link, as always, down below. So, yeah, I'm going to be very intrigued to see how this develops. Personally, I don't think it's a massive deal, but I understand people's concerns. And if this happens, then it would be obviously a massive blow, but we see this affecting all sports and esports throughout the world right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if it touches Call of Duty as well. Just hopefully it will not. But as of now, we have no official news, at least as of recording. Wanted to mention this as well, because Spitfire aired last night. That's EGL's podcast. Bryce and Ton have always been the host for a long time. And just yesterday, Bryce came out on Twitter and saying he's not going to be on Spitfire going forwards. Now, we haven't really seen both sides of the story here, but I thought I would address it at the very least, because it's a podcast I'm on kind of regularly. And, Bryce and Ton are great guys, and they've done a fantastic job hosting that show. It's like 60 episodes deep now, which is the best that a podcast has really ever done in the scene of Call of Duty, to be honest. So they've done incredibly well. And what Bryce talks about here is that, I'll leave this link down below for sure, but, he says that he's never got paid for any of these episodes, and he got told by the EGL guys it's an EGL product you've just been helping out with. And then a sponsorship opportunity came along where Bryce could be able to, earn a cut. But I think he felt kind of disrespected by EGL and that they took this attitude, given all he's done to help the podcast be what it is. A lot of people consider the Spitfire podcast to be Bryce's podcast in a sense, because Dunn does a lot of the management, overarching stuff. So he's not as active on the podcast, at least speaking wise, as Bryce is. So, obviously a big loss here. And it was EGL. It's not Tun's decision how this has gone down. He does make this clear on Twitter, so Spitfire will be up shortly. It's now available. I'm sorry this is the way it turned out. Really upset about it, if I'm honest, but here we are. Don't want to stop doing the show. Any of you coming at me thinking I didn't want Bryce on, an idiot. So he's saying that, obviously, we would have had Bryce on, or he would have had Bryce on if that was how the decision worked out, but not the case. Wonder if you guys will still be tuning into the podcast. Who knows what the next steps are there? Who knows whether Bryce is thinking about starting up his own thing? Of course, it's super saturated right now with podcasts, but I'm sure he would have some pretty decent success off the bat because he's been a legendary name in Call of Duty, really. So, shame to see it go down like this, but I don't know all the behind the scenes stuff, so it's tough for me to comment. Let's move onwards here to this. So, rumour has it, CDL Intel says that McWilliam, so this is the guy who played on the hybrid black team at Minnesota. They came second to the Singularity squad. He apparently has been signed to the Subliners. Now, this is a really interesting rumour. I guess it makes sense. The interesting part is that there's also a rumour that going around that the AM scene that Mac has been scrimming with New York on Happy's account. Unfortunately, I couldn't get this confirmed by a closer source. Trey said on the podcast yesterday, they're like, this can't be true because happy as like living with the New York guys right now. So it'd be incredible if he was living with them, but still someone else is playing for Scrims. That would be surprising. And Crone says, looks like the rumor of Mac being in Scrims is false. He's still with New York, though unsure when an announcement will come. So it looks like that announcement is coming in coming days. We've seen Los Angeles Guerrillas do this, and some amateur players, their team, Vivid and Spark being the two. Looks like Subliners are looking to lock down that squad as well, getting Mac Melts on the team. So moving onwards from that, wanted to talk about a few little pieces of drama here. This is a first clip that comes out from a formal stream the other day, where it's Methodz talking about how Slasher hasn't got any points yet, and then he fires back.
Because some players who are picking up 0 CDL points.
Like who's there? Name him out. Name him out.
I don't want to do it, but I will. Austin has 0 CDL points.
I also have 10 times your earnings.
My bad.
You brought their earnings into it, bro.
That's so fucked up.
My bad.
Wait, is that awesome?
Everybody's freaking out, but the past is the past, and all I know is I got some points, alright?
So I thought this was kind of funny in the context of the weekend ahead, because there are rumours right now that Methodz may not be on the starting lineup. We did talk yesterday for Toronto that he was spotted not being in Scrims, Brack was playing instead of him, but then he comes out and says, look, I haven't been benched, so exactly what happens there, and then it seems like he was spotted not being in Scrims again. So yesterday I said, potentially he was just out for the evening, Brack was subbing in. At least that does show at the very least that Brack is probably right on the cusp of getting into that squad, which I'm sure a lot of people are kind of excited about. But, he said that he's not being benched, but then he's spotted again not being in the team. So very confusing, not exactly sure how that's going. But of course, the other side of things is OpTic Gaming, the host for this weekend event, at 0 points right here in Toronto, and OpTic right down at the bottom. Kind of funny that Sasha comes out and says, look, I have 10 times your earnings, brother. And they've had a rivalry which has gone back and forth for quite a while. I thought I'd look at this as well. This is the Rise Nation tournament results back in the World War II days. You guys may remember Methodz was their main AR towards the start of the season. He won the Atlanta Open, and then there was all this drama about how Looney apparently scapegoated Methodz and tried to get him off the team. Slasher, of course, left the team Envy squad he was on at the time with, what was it, Hook, Temp and Classic was the team. They didn't have good results at Birmingham, and after the Stage 1 playoffs, Slasher left them, joined Rise Nation, and there we go. Straight away, they win 2 events back-to-back, had the poor result of the World Championships, but this was all where it kind of kicked off, right? Methodz versus Slasher. Methodz wins an event, Slasher takes over. Immediately, they become the best team in the game. So, very interesting. And which side of this do you fall down on? Of course, it's just a bit of banter, but at the end of the day, OpTic right now sitting at 0 points. Can they get off the mark this weekend? I think they will. They're playing Gorillas first up, and that's a Gorillas team which has very recently changed rosters. They've brought in a few new guys in Blast. Talk about him in just a second here, but also Vivid and Spark, right? So those are all in the starting lineup now, alongside Accra and Decimate. Lacefield, Saints, and Aches are on the bench as far as we understand right now, although teams haven't been fully confirmed or announced by any of the teams as of right now. Definitely something to keep your eyes on, though, because it's very tight down here at the bottom. A good weekend from Los Angeles OpTic, making top 4 or something, will shoot them above a lot of these teams. And it's expected that all of these teams, apart from Toronto, are here this weekend. So all these 4 teams make sense. Of course, the more events you play, the more likely you are to be in the top half. And the fact that you're playing this event means you're less likely to have played events before, because that's how the system works this season. But we'll have to see how OpTic Gaming get on. Of course, could they overtake Toronto this weekend? Will Methodz even be playing? That's something to keep an eye on. Also, I wanted to run through this related to the OpTic Gaming situation. I found this pretty funny tweet from the Florida Mutineers. Describe your favorite CDL team in 3 emojis or less, and we will start. So talking about the Florida Mutineers or whatever, because related to their logo kind of thing. So Jordan says, trash can. And Mutineers reply with this: it's okay, OpTic, you'll go when you feel like it. So kind of on the start line here with Patrick, telling his rocks to crack on with things. And obviously that harkens back to this, right? You're on 0 points right now. So I love this kind of drama and spiciness. At the same time, Mutineers are at the event this weekend, so who knows if OpTic Gaming are going to turn things up. And actually, they've highlighted the teams that are here this weekend, so that's kind of nice to see. Possible they do match up, but of course it requires OpTic Gaming to not only beat Los Angeles Guerrillas and make it out of their pool, but they'll also have to beat the rest of the teams in their bracket. a Seattle Surge, and the Minnesota Rocker. So they'll have to do kind of well to get out their groups, but I did want to talk about predictions more tomorrow. And then we have this, related to a little bit more drama here. So Profizi says this, having my way with the new LA. Let me just play this on screen for you guys real quick, so at least you can kind of see it in the background. He's having a nice few clips against this new Los Angeles team, of course scrimming against them. And General says, Blaz, stop this man, hashtag get busy. So hashtag get busy is Profizi's kind of hashtag that he's used. Of course, he's been an amateur for quite a while. I think he was on the Accelerate team though last season, so he has at least had some success in Call of Duty over the last couple of years, but he hasn't managed to make it into the Pro League this season. He's always been considered one of the fastest paced players in the entire league when he has been in the league. So he's always considered to play really, really aggressive, and obviously there's a bit of drama. He spats back and forth here. So Blaz then says, I see a bunch of scrim clips, but legit he lost to a dinosaur at Atlanta. Don't know who he's exactly referring to there. Don't know if he's talking about a Parasite or something, or one of the older guard of the scene. And then he says, I played you in 3 best of 5s last year, 4-key. Best you did was win 1 map. I shouldn't have even been playing your trash ass, because anyway, you didn't earn your way into the league. You're not a great Schmeek rider. You're a great Schmeek rider, one of the best, and I do not respect it. Kind of funny to see him say that, right? Given he's got onto this Los Angeles Guerrillas team. He's saying that, look, Blaz, you've snuck your way in that team undeservedly. Let's put it that way. Blaz says, lucky I'm a reformed man. You're still the same trash can that used his long ass neck to get on teams. This is just quality stuff. General's like, hey, guys, can we not all just get along right here? I mean, we entered this new era of COD when the power of friendship can take you real far. You guys should make up so I don't have to be tagged in this anymore. Okay, funny end to the conversation, but Blaz kind of taking some shots. He doesn't really fire back when he gets the opportunity. So Profizi 1-0 up for this one. But of course, if Blaz performs well this weekend and ends up getting some points together on land for the Los Angeles Guerrillas, who's the real winner here, right? Just before we finish, then wanted to go through this tweet conversation from Quavo. People have been talking about Kenny's ego, I suppose, and this is another one of these just Twitter conversations which doesn't really have a particular end goal in mind, but it's just an interesting thing to keep your eye on. So Kenny says, are you purposely hip firing every gunfight at Fellow? Sorry bro, I'll let you kill me next time. Fool what? Maybe if you aimed in you would have won more maps. We lost 1 hard point. Whoa, you've been playing since Black Ops 2 and yet to see a winners finals. Coach Machilla, and thanks to Restrikes for pointing this out to me. So Machilla, he's a name that's been around in Call of Duty for a very long time. He retired earlier this season, but then he's kind of on the cusp of, sometimes you feel like he's about to come back, sometimes you feel like he doesn't. He's never had that much success. But Kenny just coming out here with some shots. Of course, look, Kenny is a legendary name really in Call of Duty now. He still has his name as Kenny. I think his actual name is Kenneth Williams, but of course he goes by Quavo, which I don't think anyone really likes. But he was the Esports Rookie of the Year after the Console Rookie of the Year, at least, after the World War II season, where he was effectively the best player in addition to being the best Rookie Player of the Year. And then in the Black Ops 4 season, he turned things around very much towards the end and became one of the best players in the entire game, to be honest, in the latter few months. And supposedly did a really, really good job of listening to Slasher and getting on board with that team mentality and the goals that they had going forwards. However, this season, is he still on board with that in Slasher's mindset? Who really knows? But he's not performing right now. So, it's not an ideal situation for him to start coming at guys on Twitter if he's not exactly playing the best Call of Duty. However, we have heard coming into this weekend that OpTic Gaming Los Angeles are playing better Call of Duty than they were. So, who knows? It's definitely possible that they could perform this weekend. If they win a good few series, if anything, they have the easier side of the bracket right there. Rocker, a talented team for sure. A lot of people saying they're top 3, top 4 team in the entire game. My money's on them to make it out. But you've got Surge in there as well with this Panda change. That didn't happen too long ago. But then you've got OpTic Gaming, who have had the same roster for a fair while now. You're expecting them to get results at some point, even though I guess you've said that of the 100 Thieves team last season that had Ferro on it, and that didn't work out before they made a roster change. So maybe that is inevitable. If they have a poor weekend here, we're going to have to talk about OpTic Gaming once again, I'm sure, and exactly the directions they take going forwards, because we heard about the Ferro rumour. That seems to have fallen through. What is their backup plan, given so many of these amateur players are getting picked up by teams? Vivid, Spar, Mac, and I'm sure some of the European guys are being targeted as well. Intrigued to hear your thoughts down below on this one. Like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe if you're new as always. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.